What are the most tedious and absurd grinds that you could possibly embark on in Hypixel Skyblock? And on face value, this is a really opinion-based question. Those people who don't like a specific skill, for instance fishing, might just simply say fishing. But today, no, we're going to take a look at some pretty much universally accepted, completely and utterly absurd grinds. Some of them necessary if you want to completely and utterly max out the game in terms of Skyblock XP, and others maybe not. Now first of all, we're going to start off with a particular bestiary, and that bestiary being the magma boss. You see, nowadays, it's really quite easy to actually complete the magma boss, but regardless of how much damage you can actually do, there's kind of a limit to how little time it can take. And that's because of its various phases. But for instance, if you wanted to get max Skyblock XP possible, then you're going to need to complete every single bestiary, and of course, this will include the magma boss. Now, you might think that you've done a decent amount of magma bosses until you actually check its bestiary and realise that you need 1,000 magma boss kills to actually max this bestiary out. Now, each magma boss kill takes approximately 2.5 minutes. And best case scenario, you'll lobby swap to, well, find a different lobby that has the magma boss already spawned in. So we can quite easily add an extra 20 seconds on for that too. Which means that per magma boss, it takes around about 2 minutes and 50 seconds each. As we know, to max out the bestiary, we need 1,000 magma boss kills. So what that means is, if you are 100% efficient, and you do magma bosses for 34 to 35 hours straight, then yeah, you'll have max bestiary. But it's incredibly boring. It is the same thing over and over and over again, and let's be honest, you're not really gonna be that efficient. You can't play the game for 34 hours straight. I mean, some people probably could. But yeah, this is a very long grind, and you might be thinking, oh, it's only 34, 35 hours. People have thousands of hours playtime. You've got to remember, this is just for a couple of XP. Okay, if you actually want to get max Skyblock XP, these are the sort of things that you have to do. And at the end of it, you might only see, what, like 5 or 6 Skyblock XP, which is kind of crazy. Now, before we do move on to undoubtedly even worse grinds, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5%. You should subscribe to the channel if you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed. Please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server. It's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Now, just a little note, while we're on the topic of bestiaries, I'll just mention another one that's actually relatively similar to Magma Boss. But, to be honest, it's not really going to be anywhere near as bad, in a certain aspect. Dragon Bestiary. Once again, it's 1,000 kills to actually max out the bestiary, and with dragons, the kill time is obviously a lot quicker. Sometimes it can just be a couple of seconds. And once again, you rely on lobby swapping, considering there is a cooldown until the egg respawns. Not really as tedious of a grind if you probably have a couple of you as Magma Boss. So moving on. Dungeons. Now, I initially thought, well, Kata 50 is relatively difficult to get right, and surely that would be a tedious grind. And sure, in my opinion, it 100% would be, you know, from the perspective of someone who doesn't really enjoy dungeons at all in the slightest. But what really would be a more tedious grind than getting Kata 50 would be, well, class average 50. Of course, the max Catacombs level is 50, but just because your Catacombs 50 doesn't mean that you're potentially going to be Mage 50 or Tank 50 or Archer 50. Even the class that you play the most probably isn't going to be level 50, so that means after Kata 50, you've still got a ton of more grinding to do if you actually want to get class average 50. Now, just to put this into perspective, we're going to take Opinion. He is currently Catacombs 43, and here are his class levels. Now, if he wanted to actually get to class average 50, he'd need to complete 4,034 Master Mode Floor 7 runs. Just consider that for a second. Over 4,000 M7 runs. Like, that is just an insane amount, and for the actual dungeon itself, yeah. If we say you could get it down to 6 minutes for every single run, that's 24,000 minutes, or 400 hours. You're taking 400 hours of Master Mode Floor 7 non-stop, constantly, not even taking into account downtime or in-between runs. Just over 16.5 days. To anyone who has had the patience to do that, GG's, and I have nothing else to say. Okay, next up we have something completely different, but for a lot of people I think you're going to understand my pain. Go over to our accessory bag, scroll through. Out of all the accessories to be a massive pain, a tedious, horrible grind that sometimes never ends, it's got to be Melody's hair. For those of you who don't know what Melody's hair is, it's probably best it stays that way. Pretty much everyone watching this video is going to know what Melody's hair is anyway. But to obtain Melody's hair, you need to make your way over to the park, and over to this island at the side of the Acacia Forest, to this here harp. Now, Melody will basically want you to complete all of these different songs on the harp. And to actually obtain melodies here, you need to basically complete all of the top row, so all of the easy, all of the hard songs, and the expert songs too. After the 2 expert songs, there's 2 virtuoso songs, which are actually, in my opinion, impossible. It says that I've completed 100% of both of these, but I guarantee I have not. There is no chance in a million years. I don't know why it says I have, but I definitely haven't. I was barely able to complete the songs that you need to obtain the talisman. So yeah, I don't know why it says that I have. But I don't know, let's just select this song and... Okay, we'll move somewhere else. Luckily for me, I do have my own personal harp somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, see, here we go. I don't know why it says that I've completed them at Melody, but I definitely haven't. So let's just give this a go, shall we? I mean, I'm not doing this optimally. I'm not good at things like this anyway. I'm just gonna... There is basically tips that you can follow to make it easier, such as making your GUI scale bigger and binding the pick button to your left click or whatever you're using to click. But regardless, it's just incredibly difficult. Full stop. It's massively ping based, I've got to say. And these last 2 songs you don't actually need to complete in order to, well, get the talisman. But if you really want to max out the game, you have to do these. And, well, yeah, it's just impossible. There's people who've done it. There's a lot of people who've done it. Therefore, it's probably not impossible, but to me, it's impossible. So, yeah. And while we're in and around the park, I think it would be, I'm not going to stay on the topic for too long, because we all know how horrible foraging is. Other than on your private island, this is the prime place to forage. The park, who would have thought? Back in the day, I did 24 hours of foraging, 24 hours straight on a live stream. Prior to that, I did 24 hours of foraging over the space of a week, and I'm only foraging 38, which isn't even halfway from foraging 1 to 50. The halfway mark is actually around about foraging 42, so I wouldn't even be halfway. And I've put well over 50 hours into foraging, which shows you just how bad foraging on a public island like this, how bad it really is. Because you can build a contraption similar to this, where you can basically semi-AFK foraging. Mine's a little bit broken at the moment, so I wouldn't copy this, but I did make a video a good few months ago. And basically the idea is that you place the saplings down, and then this kind of machine automatically bone meals the wood, so it instantly grows, and then you just cut it down straight away. And you just repeat that cycle. And I think you can get foraging 50 in around about 30 to 40 hours doing it this way, which is still not great, considering it will be incredibly boring and tedious. But it will be even more absurd to do it in the park like I attempted to. What on earth has happened? I'm not going to speak any more on foraging, because I would just be saying what everybody already knows. It's bad. It's really bad. It's tedious. It's absurd. It's horrible. Yeah. Foraging update, please. I've got a few more honourable mentions, such as crop milestones. If you want to get max Skyblock XP, you're going to have to do all of these. You're going to have to max them all out. This is because every time you basically increase your crop milestone, you gain 1 Skyblock XP. This means that you're going to need over 64 million wheat collection, over 208 million carrot, 208 million potato, 64 million pumpkin, 122 million sugarcane, 320 million melon, 128 million cactus, 192 million cocoa bean, 64.1 million mushroom, and 192 million netherwort. Once again, if you've gone ahead and done that, then it's just GG. I mean, nothing else to be said. Okay, here's a goofy one. We know the museum, and when you put items in your museum, you gain Skyblock XP. Now, that isn't for every single item. However, let's say, for instance, if you truly wanted to max out the game, you wanted to get full Skyblock XP, and you wanted to have maybe every single item in the museum, and you're on Iron Man. And I know this is a horrible, horrible hypothetical to be dropping on you, but this means the Enragers going in the museum. The Enragers that, of course, being Iron Man, you obviously have to drop rather than buy, meaning that you have to go through this horrible process of riding your luck. Even doing tier 5 Kudras, you have a 1 in 311,000 chance each time you actually do a Kudra run. It is a silly hypothetical, but it is what it is. To be fair though, some people are going to be angry when I say this, but if you are an Iron Man, the chances are you'll probably just drop the Enrager anyway. It was a joke, even though, to be completely honest, it does seem like Iron Man people have good RNG. Anyway, moving on. Last honourable mention. How about Max Powder? Now, it used to be a tedious grind, going for Max Mithril and Max Gemstone Powder. But that got a whole lot more tedious when Glaciite Powder became a thing. Getting Max Powder in the Crystal Halls is incredibly boring. There's no way around it. Yep. And then getting Max Glaciite Powder, yeah. One of them situations, once again, where you can't really say anything other than GG if somebody goes ahead and completes it. Now, I'm so sure that I've missed some really tedious and absurd grinds out. And you can let me know in the comments. There'll be lots of bestiaries that are really, really stupid and annoying and tedious to get. And of course, probably other grinds in other parts of the games too. So if you've experienced any of these, then please do let me know in the comments. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.